So are you now ready? I think you are now ready to read the story, but before you read, let me read to you the story of Ramayana by Maharshi Valmiki. Long ago, Dashratha, the wise king of Ayodhya of Sarayu, India, had three wives. Though the king had three wives, he didn't have any children with them. The chief priest Vasishta advised the king to make fire sacrifice to obtain a blessing from the gods. After the gods were pleased, one of them appeared out of the flame and handed him a pot full of nectar. The god told the king to share the nectar with his three queens, namely Kausalya, Kaikeyi, and Sumitra. While the nectar had been shared, the three queens gave birth to sons. Kausalya had Rama, Kaikeyi had Bharata, and Sumitra had twins Lakshmana and Shatrughna. A sage took the boys out to train them in archery. In a neighboring city, the ruler's daughter was named Sita. When it was time for Sita to choose her bridegroom at a ceremony called a Swayamvara, the princes were asked to string a giant bow. No one else could even lift the bow. But as Rama vented, he did not only string it but also broke it into two. Sita indicated that she chose Rama as her husband by putting a garland around his neck. King Dashratha, Rama's father, decided it was time to give his throne to his eldest son Rama and retired to the forest to seek moksha. Everyone seems pleased. This plan fulfilled the rules of Dharma because an eldest son should rule, and if a son can take over one's responsibilities, one's last years may be spent in a search for moksha. In addition, everyone loved Rama. However, Rama's stepmother, the king's second wife, was not pleased. She wanted her son Bharata to rule because of an oath Dashratha had made to her years before she got the king to agree to banish Rama for 14 years and to crown Bharata even though the king on bended knee begged her not to demand such things. Broken-hearted, the devastated king could not face Rama with the news that Kaikeyi must tell him. Rama, always obedient, was as content to go into banishment in the forest as to be crowned king. Sita convinced Rama that she would always be at his side, and his brother Lakshmana also begged to accompany them. Rama, Sita, and Lakshmana set out to the forest. Bharata, whose mother's evil plot had won him the throne, was very upset when he found out what had happened. Not for a moment. He did consider breaking the rules of Dharma and becoming king in Rama's place. He went to Rama's forest retreat and begged Rama to return and rule. But Rama refused. We must obey, father, Rama says. Bharata then took Rama's sandal, saying, I will put this on the throne, and every day I shall place the fruits of my work at the feet of my Lord. Embracing Rama, he took the sandals and returned to Ayodhya. Years passed and Rama, Sita, and Lakshmana were very happy in the forest. Rama and Lakshmana destroyed the Rakshasas, the evil creatures who disturbed the sages in their meditations. One day, a Rakshasa princess named Shurpanaka tried to seduce Rama, and Lakshmana wounded her and drove her away. She returned to her brother Ravana, the ten-headed ruler of Lanka, Sri Lanka, formerly Ceylon, and told her brother, who is always attracted to beautiful women, about lovely Sita. Ravana devised a plan to abduct Sita. He sent a magical golden deer which Sita desired Rama to hunt. A long time had passed, but Rama didn't return. Thus, Lakshmana went off to find his brother. Before leaving Sita, Lakshmana drew a protective circle around Sita and warned her that she would be safe if she would stay within the circle. As they went off, Ravana, who could change his shape, appeared as a holy man begging alms. The moment Sita stepped outside the circle to give him food, Ravana grabbed her and carried her off to his kingdom in Lanka. Rama was broken-hearted when he returned to the empty hut and could not find Sita. A band of monkeys led by Hanuman offered to help him find Sita. Ravana carried Sita to his place or palace in Lanka. But he could not force her to be his wife. So, he put her in a grove and alternately sweet-talked her and threatened her in an attempt to get her to agree to marry him. Sita would not even look at him, but thought only of her beloved Rama. Hanuman, the general of the monkey band, could fly since his father was the wind, and he flew to the Lanka and found Sita in the grove, comforted her, and told her Rama would come soon and save her. Ravana's men captured Hanuman, and Ravana ordered them to wrap Hanuman's tail in cloth and to set it on fire. With his tail burning, Hanuman hopped from housetop to housetop, setting Lanka afire. He then flew back to Rama to tell him where Sita was. Rama, Lakshmana, and the monkey army built a causeway from the tip of India, crossing over to Lanka. A mighty battle took place. Rama killed several of Ravana's brothers, and then Rama confronted ten-headed Ravana. Rama finally killed Ravana and freed Sita. After Sita gained her freedom from Ravana, she proved her purity through the trial by fire. Then they returned to Ayodhya and Rama became the king. As Rama became the king, he ruled Ayodhya with Ram Rajya, an ideal time when everyone does his or her duties and responsibilities. And that ends the story of Ramayana. Wow, what a nice story. And now let's move on. If you really understood the lesson, let us have this activity. As what I told you a while back, that we have to answer the guide questions. So let's have question number 1. Who is the eldest son of King Dashratha? Alright, it is Rama. Rama is the eldest son of King Dashratha. Good job. Next, who is the lover of Rama? Alright, I would like you to write that in your answer sheet. Same as true with the third, fourth, fifth, and the sixth question. Alright, so basically, all of the questions are asking about the characters in the story. Now, my question is, what do you call the place where the story happened? What refers to the people present in the story? What do you call these characters or the setting? Actually, they are not just two. Yes, there are other elements of story, and it will be presented in your virtual classes or your online classes. So for now, I would like you to answer the 6 questions or guide questions about the story of Ramayana. Alright, so I'm giving you now the floor or the time to answer these guide questions. So start.